Just wanted to make one little edit there, and we are ready. Welcome to Spartalknewztalk, your plucky, working class source for the news you need and the takes you trust. Because we'll tell you the same thing here as behind the bar. This is Spartalk, broadcasting from my favorite corner of my favorite city, Southwest Detroit, Mexican town. Bellied up next to me is my co-host and co-producer of what has been a very productive experiment so far, namely the news leg of this show, Spartalk, Sex, Politics, and Religion. Haakim Walker. Haakim?
Yes, sir.
Hello. So we took a couple of weeks off there.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on in the city. How was your Memorial Day?
I was out of town. I was in Vegas for my little sister's graduation party.
Okay.
So,
How was
ceremony.
Vegas then?
Vegas is Vegas.
They're no different in Memorial Day?
Well, hotter and crazier for people who aren't, interested in wearing masks because they're there with their 2-year-old baby in a bonnet, and a big ass margarita walking around on the strip. So
okay,
that's different.
Yes, yeah. Definitely. That is something I did not see in the city this Memorial Day, and that's saying something because I did see a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot to see here. I'm sure.
I gotta say,
what's angsty.
Yeah, we're more angsty here. I gotta say I was fairly turned around on the mask wearing going out during that. It was surreal to be in spaces where nobody was wearing them, but even at TV Bar, there were robust outdoor settings, and even though only 44% of Detroit is currently vaccinated, I got the sense that I was among that 44% the whole time. And with cases consistently declining, if the rollout for vaccinations had been like the rollout for testing, for instance, I might feel differently. But at this point, anyone who isn't taking it is making a choice. And there are unfortunate dynamics to, surrounding the nature of that choice, but that was always going to be the case.
Pretty much, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know if you have another take on that, but it changed my mind. I didn't expect my mind to be changed on something like that.
Well, my take is just that, most people understand what the consequences of not getting the vaccination now. People who are out, I believe most people that I've noticed seem to either have gotten it and because they know that there was a point where people were thinking maybe they would be using their vax cards to go out. So I've seen a few of those people carrying their cards. So I think they understand that as a way to get access to events or to more nightlife, they have to be vaccinated. So
yeah. Certainly. And then today, instead of a cocktail, I figured I'd just bring over a great orange wine here.
Orange wines.
What's that?
You love your orange wines.
I do like orange wines quite a lot.
You're like a sorority sister.
Yes, I am like that, and I have, I don't think any of my sisters were in sororities, but if maybe one or two were, and maybe something rubbed off on me. I've been enjoying them lately, and for those of you who don't know what an orange wine is, it's a white graped wine which is steeped in the grape skins. This one is from a fantastic vineyard from Mendocino County, California, Populous, which I don't know if I think you've tried their reds before.
I've tried, I think that one also.
I love their reds, and this one is a Chardonnay, and again, steeped in those grape skins. So I got this from Motor City Wine. It's one of my favorite places in the city. I'm going to try it. You're back on the sober train.
Back on the wagon.
Back on the wagon, as it were. So I'll pour one out for you later. But I only have half a bottle. I just thought I'd bring it over just to promote.
Just to rub it in my face.
Just to rub it. Any chance I get, Hakeem. Any chance I get. Excellent. But I digress. Today is Tuesday, July 15th, and today in the news. The U.S. has formally ended Trump's Remain in Mexico policy last week, which forced tens of thousands of Central American asylum seekers to wait in Mexico for U.S. court cases. This after President Biden had just paused it under his migrant protection protocols. JBS, the world's largest meat processor, has paid out $11 million to the perpetrators of a ransomware cyber attack that's likely based in Russia. JBS had to halt production at some of its processing plants as a result. According to the Financial Times, President Vladimir Putin denied knowledge of the attack. In a related story, President Joe Biden is arriving today in Geneva for a contentious meeting with Vladimir Putin after meeting with the G7 of NATO. It's to cap off a European tour designed to show Western solidarity ahead of the meeting. So we'll see how that goes. And then, as we well know, every place is understaffed right now. And so today, Governor Gretchen Whitmer, I actually heard this in the car ride doing some errands today, proposed a weekly back-to-work bonus of $300. Eligible laid-off employees could earn the bonus for returning to the workforce through September 4th. This would be, in theory, on top of the enhanced employment benefits for any week that doesn't go beyond unemployment eligibility, which is about $500. So if you say go back to work and in 1 week only earn $450, say, you could actually get up to $1,050 that week. It is not yet known whether this program will begin, whether or when this program will begin, or who will be eligible. But it'll be interesting to see. I don't know. Do you think that's a good idea?
As an incentive for people going back to work?
Right.
I mean, yeah, whatever it takes. I mean, people are not completely convinced that, everyone's safe. And so, right. If it kickstarts a way to get people an incentive, but also and another incentive is to pay employees a livable wage.
Absolutely, yes. So that's another thing you could do. Big Gretch. We know you watch Big Gretch. So we decided today we would just do another clip show. We've got some exciting news at the tail end of the show. But before we get to that, we should talk about this viral video. So let's just watch it and see what we think of it.
All right, so let's get to the top.
This is Daily Blast.
A lot of our DBL Nation has brought this
but
up.
They're going to show
We've been chatting about it. Have you guys seen this? A local news reporter in Houston named Ivory Hecker went rogue on live TV. She called out the Fox station where she works, saying they were muzzling her, quote unquote. Take a look.
Thanks, guys. That's right. Before we get to that story, I want to let you, the viewers, know that Fox Corp has been muzzling me to keep certain information from you, the viewers. And from what I'm gathering, I am not the only reporter being subjected to this. I am going to be releasing some recordings about what goes on behind the scenes at Fox because it applies to you, the viewers. I found a nonprofit journalism group called Project Veritas. It's going to put that out tomorrow, so tune into them. But as for this heat wave across Texas, you can see what it's doing to AC units.
Wow.
You can see what it's doing to the back of his shirt.
It's sweaty. It's sweaty.
Very
All right.
sweaty man.
Let's get to the story. So how do you think her station responded? Here's the phone call Ivory got from the assistant news director. Take a listen.
All right. I wanted to call you and let you know that you are suspended effective immediately, pending further review.
Okay.
I would ask you not to come to the station, okay?
Okay.
All right, and we will be in touch.
Surprise, surprise. Now we've been checking with Project Veritas. And nothing has yet been published regarding her being muzzled, but if you're curious what Project Veritas is all about, it is a far-right activist group founded by James O'Keefe that uses secret recordings to discredit media organizations and other groups. All right, so Al, you had a lot to say while I was telling the story. What do you think of this and about her going
And his take is pretty good, so we'll listen to a little bit of that.
That's why we're here, Sam. Okay, no one's trying to muzzle. The reporter is getting sent out, first of all, in the daytime shift to cover air conditionings. They're not going to break some story about Russia and the United States. I kind of do, because she's acting like she's being muzzled, but when she's on the phone and she had a chance to speak, all we heard was, okay. This is an example, and Jeff, you remember in that...
I think that's... generally speaking, he's got a good take.
Right.
But, and...
Being muzzled is...
And that's the thing. She said she was going to release the video, so maybe she didn't want to tell it to that other person. But she recorded the call, and so I don't know.
She recorded the call for what reason?
To show that she's got the balls to say okay to Fox.
Yeah.
Fox News HR department.
You would be like, your opinion being throwing it at the man type thing. And
one would think.
Okay is not a recordable, really kind of context.
Right.
Yeah.
The burning question really is, what valuable information is she being muzzled, from getting out there? And my first guess would have been probably something about the Dominion voting, things or something like that.
Still.
It's my first guess because that's the thing. We know that Fox got into a lot of hot water, making baseless claims about voter fraud interference from this company that was only in certain counties and was just very it was just completely false stuff in the first place. I don't think that was the thing that they were muzzling him or her with, though, because I found this other video that you released. I'm not sure if this was after, but let's take a look. And I think this is actually the stuff that they were trying to muzzle her from getting out there.
I'm not gonna leave things unsaid. I'm gonna bear my whole heart. I wanna tell you exactly how you changed my whole life. We might not need
How much of this am I going to?
so please, before you go, will you take this moment to hear one small story of when the stars aligned? 'Cause a few days have
Quick
passed
cut.
and I
Quick cut there.
even though I haven't heard from you in quite some time. You really
Gotta see at least the bathing suit.
electrified. This might be love at first sight.
Like a really quick montage of what the rest is going to be.
Okay.
And now it's a flashback of the meeting. Oh, and they both have American flags. Yes. And they're both buttoned to Budweiser. I mean, Bud Light. It's or is that Miller Lite? Miller Lite, yeah. Yeah. So that's really what they were trying to muzzle her with, is she wants to sing about her relationships and have her own editing team on the news, and she's not allowed to do it.
She's not allowed to have her own music.
This is relegated to YouTube. It's
8,000 views. Yeah, she should have more than that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. 134 thumbs up, 39 thumbs down. That's a good ratio. Let's get that on the news.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
It's newsworthy.
So
Is that Quavo behind here? I can't tell. No.
I would seriously doubt it.
You never know.
So, speaking of blonde conservatives, it's been a big week for them. Clearly, Marjorie, and so let's watch a little bit of. So Marjorie Taylor Greene got in a little bit of hot water because she said that this ghettoizing of unvaccinated people, making them sit in different points, places in the restaurants, other stuff like that. It's not right. In fact, it's as bad as the Holocaust.
Yes, I knew that was gonna. How did I know that was gonna be?
We're not going any steps, straight to the Holocaust. So
as soon as I heard it, it's like it has something to do with the Holocaust.
no, it's gotta be. I mean, I don't think this is the first time she compared stuff to Nazis. Like in the last,
because you
in the-
always compare stuff to the
Yeah.
Whenever you want to get your point across.
Yeah, so let's watch her apology a little bit and see how heartfelt we think
I
it is.
have made a mistake, and it's really bothered me for a couple of weeks now, and so I definitely want to own it. This afternoon, I visited the Holocaust Museum. The Holocaust there's nothing comparable to it. It happened, and over 6 million Jewish people were murdered. More than that, there were not just Jewish people, black people, Christians, all kinds of people, children, people that the Nazis didn't believe were good enough or perfect enough. And the horrors of the Holocaust are something that some people don't even believe happened, and some people
Thank you.
Vote for you.
Yeah, like you probably
your
know.
constituents.
There's definitely some of those constituents of yours.
And for that, I want to apologize. And I am just fine and very glad to be able to come out here and do that because I believe it's important. I believe that forced masks and forced vaccines or vaccine passports are a type of discrimination. And I'm very much against that type of discrimination. What I would like to say is I'm removing that statement completely away from what I had said before.
Let's
There
just
is no
like a
conjunction,
time machine.
there
That
is
just
no
let's say I didn't say that. Yeah, wipe off.
So
Yeah.
can you just edit that out of my life?
Yeah, out of my life. I've
Yeah.
never seen her backtrack on anything. Like she's so steam ahead. Like so that's I think it's it's at least nice that, but really it's it's at a time when everybody's flipping their shit over Ilhan Omar, and it seems to be every year and a half now that they do,
Right.
about her just saying that crimes, war crimes, the U.S. should be accountable for their crimes, the Israel should be accountable for their crimes, and Palestine should be accountable for their crimes. It's essentially what she said, and she, lo and behold, she was censured again. So at a time like this, you can't really. The Republicans can't let that go. So I'm sure they got somebody from AIPAC to talk to her, take her to this museum.
Right.
And that's where we are at right now. So Marjorie Taylor Greene update. She never, I don't know if you saw, there was also a clip where she posted herself sitting outside of AOC's office when I don't even know if she was there, but the door was closed and locked, and just harassing her through the door and saying
She definitely wasn't there because she doesn't have the.
Yeah, it like
She doesn't have the ovaries to do that.
Yeah, I maybe I should cue up that one. The only other thing I had down the docket today was we're getting more stuff about how Giuliani pressured Ukraine to investigate Biden, how how there were emails from Donald Trump trying to pressure the DOJ from trying to overturn the election. But let's just listen to the Giuliani to Ukraine call was the latest one that dropped. So let's just listen to that real quick.
What exactly do you mean?
Meaning meddling in the election.
It was the call that set events in motion.
Okay, so we should have on the line here America's mayor, Mayor Giuliani, and we have Andrei Yermak.
Thrusting a reluctant Ukraine into America's divided politics. We already know through transcripts and testimony, Giuliani pressured them to announce investigations important to then President Trump. But this is the first time we've heard his actual voice.
I want very much to see that our two countries are able to work together
how Giuliani cajoled the Ukrainian presidential advisor on the other end of the line, first promoting debunked conspiracy theories that Ukraine, not Russia, was involved in US election meddling in 2016 and tried to hurt the Trump campaign.
Way back in last November, I got information from a reliable investigator, international investigator, that there was a certain amount of activity in Ukraine during the 2016 election that involved Ukrainian officials and Ukrainian mostly officials being asked by our embassy,
Well, what was the other one going to be?
possibly by other American officials. Basically, I mean, the statement was to produce dirt on then candidate Trump and Paul Manafort.
By the time of the call in July 2019, Joe Biden had already emerged as the Democratic Party's frontrunner to challenge President Trump, and digging up dirt on Biden, like the unfounded allegations of corrupt dealings in Ukraine when he was vice president, had become a priority for Trump and his longtime advisor. Throughout the roughly 40-minute call.
All right, we're not going to listen to all the 40-minute call, but so this is the most recent drop and emails. That was last week. This week,
Right.
Emails from Donald Trump, like trying to urge the DOJ to investigate the election. I mean, Rudy Giuliani has really all of his political capital. It's spent up, and it's really a beautiful thing to see. And I don't know, the 2020 election particularly.
Yeah, you almost feel, I don't know if I feel bad for him, but it's so embarrassing to the point where you're like, yeah, this is just embarrassing. You were a mayor of the biggest city,
A celebrated mayor,
in this country. And now you're like a buffoon.
Yeah.
It's almost just embarrassing for all of us.
It's embarrassing because they're still calling him America's mayor.
Yeah.
How does that make us look?
Yeah, it makes us all look bad.
Yeah,
We all
really.
have to we can sit here and joke about it and be point fingers, but at the same time, we're this guy was 9/11 mayor. You know what I mean? This guy is our America's mayor at some point.
And it's one thing that we're hard on Trump here. I do think he was the funniest president in history, but and I do miss that aspect of him. I really do. But we have to also look at whatever you want to say. If you want to say that the Ukraine call of Trump's Ukraine call was impeachable or whatever, not impeachable, it was insanely embarrassing for to be on a call like that with the new Ukrainian president after essentially saying that you would do that to George Stephanopoulos maybe a month earlier. So we're moving past. We got to get more hard hitting on Biden on this show, I think, and get past the Trump years. But this is a long goodbye in terms of it's too much to unpack, not to leave it there.
Well, is it a long goodbye? Because we still have to deal with,
and that's another thing. It could poke its head up at any point, and especially the 2020 election, the big lie whole thing, the whole thing surrounding the big lie, is particularly absurd because that election was among the more voter education than ever before, more voter participation than ever before, one of the most impressive U.S. elections in U.S. history. So, it's particularly absurd, and we know that. We know how absurd it is because there was so much pushback and it was litigated in the courts.
Right.
So maybe thank you for that, Trump, or whatever. So lastly, we should talk about our plans for the show. The goal of the news leg was always to get a good visual language for this new world and set up a setup that we're happy with. Which, not to jinx it, Hakeem, I think we're pretty much there. I like how it's looking, and I like how it's sounding, you know? So we've got about 6 months left in the year. We knocked out 10 episodes in that time in our first season, all panel episodes. And this year we've done 1 panel episode, 6 cocktail episodes, and 12 news episodes, actually. This is going to make our 13th.
Yes.
And I've enjoyed every minute of it, even the parts that were frustrating.
Which were a lot of
which were, maybe half. But I was glad to get past it. And I was glad to see the process and everything. But we want to get back to panel shows. So, and we have some ideas in the works. So we're going to take a little hiatus to make that happen. Haakim, how have you enjoyed doing the show? Do you concur with
I concur, yeah.
Okay.
Mostly the technical stuff has been the most annoying, but other than that, we have had great guests on and great conversation. So
right. So we will keep doing that, and in between panel shows, we might do more of this just to get to refine everything. But we appreciate you watching, and we're going to take some Tuesdays off to get this panel show together. So stay tuned. All right.